Hello students, welcome to my class. So already we have discussed one semiconductor device, that is a PN junction diode. We have also discussed its working as a rectifier. But PN junction diode had one demerit that it could not control the output. It acts as a switching device, either it conducts or it does not conduct. In order to control the output with the help of input, a new semiconductor device was designed by two American scientists in the year 1948, J. Barin and W. H. Breton. So the two scientists, they designed a new semiconductor device by help of which the output can be controlled with the input. So the device was named transistor. I shall explain you that why this name was transistor. Very interesting. So before that, let us have the basic idea what is transistor. A transistor is a semiconductor device. A transistor is a semiconductor device. Is a semiconductor device formed by sandwiching either a P material between two N materials or a N material between two P materials, Look here, if this is a semiconductor base, let this be N material and this be P material, this be P material. So this becomes a transistor. So this is called PNP transistor, PNP transistor, PNP transistor. Or you can make like this. So let this be semiconductor material. This side is say N material. The middle one is a P material. This is a N material. So this becomes another type of transistor, that is NPN transistor. So look here, as I told you, a transistor is a semiconductor device because it is made by taking the semiconductor silicon or germanium and it is doped with either trivalent impurities or pentavalent impurities by the doping process. So look here, it is a semiconductor device in which either a P material is sandwiched between two N materials. It is sandwich. Sandwich means as we eat sandwich, suppose this is one bread slice, this is another bread slice, okay. So between two slices of bread we give some jam or some vegetables. Okay, so that becomes a sandwich, or butter. So that is a sandwich. Similarly here, between two N-type materials, a P-type semiconductor is sandwiched, or between two P-type semiconductors, a N-type semiconductor is sandwiched. So this device came to be known as a transistor. So a transistor is a semiconductor device formed by sandwiching. Sandwiching means by placing in the middle either a P material between two N materials, or a N material between two P materials. So now we can say that there are two types of transistor. One is the PNP transistor and other one is the NPN transistor. PNP transistor and other one is the NPN transistor. Remember, the complete name of transistor is bipolar junction transistor. The complete name of junction transistor is bipolar junction transistor. Now, why it is called bipolar junction and transistor? Bi means two, polar means charge carrier. That means in this device, two types of charge carriers, that is the holes and free electrons, they participate in the current conduction process. As we all know that the holes are majorly charge carriers in a p-type semiconductor and the free electrons are the majorly charge carriers in a n-type semiconductor. Therefore, in this device, both holes and free electrons, they participate in the current conduction process. So, current conduction takes place due to two types of charge carriers. Bi means two, polar means charge carrier. So, two types of charge carriers, hence its name is the bipolar. Junction. Junction means PN junction. You know that there are two PN junctions. This is one PN junction. This is another PN junction. So, in a transistor, there are two PN junctions. Hence, the name is the junction transistor. But frequently, we all say that it is transistor. But you must know that its complete name is the bipolar junction transistor. Now, let us discuss what are the parts of a transistor. A transistor has three sections. You mark here, three sections are there. This one is emitter section and this one is collector section. You mark that emitter section and collector section are of same type of semiconductor. In case of PNP transistor, both emitter and collector are P materials. In case of NPN transistor, both emitter and collector are N-type semiconductors. So, emitter and collector. Emitter means it is supplying the majorly charged carriers as if it is emitting. So, it supplies the majorly charged carriers. So, what are the majorly charged carriers in a p-type? So, it is holes. Okay, it is supplying the majorly charged carriers, though its name is the emitter. The other one is the collecting those majorly charged carriers supplied from emitter. So, emitter is supplying the majorly charged carriers and collector is the collecting those majorly charged carriers. Now, we find that the emitter, the major charge carriers, they move from emitter section to collector section. So while to regulate the flow of major charge carriers, a middle layer is there, a middle section is there known as base. The base section is always of different type of material. The base is always of opposite type material. That means if it is a PNP transistor, in case of PNP transistor, the base is material while emitter and collector are P materials. In case of NPN transistor, the base is P material while emitter and collector are N materials. Okay? So the base is controlling the movement of major charge carriers moving from emitter section to collector section. Remember, the emitter section is in the input side and collector section is in the output side. So our aim is to get maximum number of charge carriers at the output. But while moving from emitter section to collector section, from input section to output section, the flow of charge carriers, that is the major charge carriers, are to be controlled by the base. So before we discuss how base is controlling, we must know that what is the doping concentration and what is the thickness of these three sections of the transistor. As I told you that a transistor has three sections: emitter section, base section and collector section. Emitter section, this section, but this part of the transistor has heavy doping concentration. Heavy doping concentration means doping concentration is the highest for emitter, and for collector section doping concentration is the for base section doping concentration is the minimum. So minimum doping concentration, and the collector has moderate means medium, so moderate doping concentration. Doping concentration means how much impurities we have added. So doping concentration is maximum for emitter, minimum for base and medium or moderate for collector. Then we shall see the thickness. The base is the thinnest. So thinnest. That means thickness is minimum for base and thickness is maximum for collector and thickness minimum for base, and emitter has moderate thickness. So we find that in a transistor, the three sections, that is emitter section, base section and collector section, the three sections have different doping concentration and also different thickness. Now, what is we find why the base has a minimum doping concentration and a minimum thickness? Remember, I told you that in a transistor, usually the emitter is in the input side and collector is in the output side. We always want that maximum number of charge carriers should move from emitter section to collector section. So, but at the same time, we want to control the movement of charge carriers from emitter section to collector section. We find that the base is always of opposite material to the emitter and collector. For example, in a PNP transistor, the base is N material, and in an NPN transistor, the base is P material. In case of N-type material, free electrons are major charge carriers. In case of P material, holes are the major charge carriers. Now look at this. When holes move from emitter to collector through the base, via base, a few number of holes combine with the free electrons in the N-type base. So during this recombination process, hole is lost. Also a free electron is lost. So when a hole combines with a free electron, two charge carriers are lost. Okay? But our aim is to get maximum number of charge carriers at the output. That means we must expect maximum holes. Say for example, 100 holes leave the emitter section. So we must expect 100 holes at the collector section. But it is not possible to get 100 holes at the collector section. Why? Because always some holes will be lost in the base, because base is here base is the N type, emitter and collector is the P type in case of PNP transistor. So the loss due to electron hole recombination process in the base should be as minimum as possible. As minimum as possible. Say 5 number of holes combined, the 5 number of holes are lost in the base section due to electron hole recombination process. Then how many holes reach here? 95 holes. So that is expected, because this is 100, this is 95, not very large difference. So there has been a small loss in the base section. So to minimize the loss of major charge carriers due to electron hole recombination process in the base region, the base is very thin and very lightly doped. I repeat, to minimize the loss of major charge carriers due to electron hole recombination process in the base region, the base of the transistor is very thin and lightly doped. So in fact, the base is the thinnest and its doping concentration is minimum in comparison to other two. I told also that the collector has maximum thickness. Why? Usually the collector section is in the output side of the device. Output side. And when current flows in the output through the load resistance where we want to get the output, heat will be produced. Heat will be produced. Because as you know, heat H equal to I square RT. That means the heat produced depends upon current and load resistance R. So as the current flows in the load resistance which is connected at the output of the device, so heat will be produced. Due to the heat produced, the temperature of the device will increase. But transistor is a very sensitive device. It is a temperature sensitive device. That means if the temperature will increase, then it will adversely affect the function of the transistor. The transistor will not function properly. So the heat produced in the collector section should be quickly lost, quickly dissipated to the surroundings. So to allow the heat to be lost quickly due to radiation, the collector has a wider thickness, because larger the surface area, faster is the cooling process. Means heat will be quickly dissipated to the surroundings. So to have a wider surface area, the collector has a maximum thickness. So students, we have seen that a transistor has three parts: emitter section, base section, collector section. Emitter section, collector section are of same type material. In case of NPN transistor, emitter and collector both are of N materials. In case of PNP transistor, emitter and collector are of P materials. But base is always of opposite nature material. In case of NPN transistor, base is the P type. In case of PNP transistor, base is N type material. And to reduce the loss of major discharge carriers in the base region due to electron hole recombination process, we have made the base very thin and also very lightly doped. Now to connect the transistor in a circuit, we connect some metallic wires to the three sections. We connect metallic wires to the three sections. This is one metal wire, this is one metal wire, this is one metal wire. So these are called the three terminals of the transistor. So this is called emitter terminal, the wire connected to emitter section. Emitter terminal I mark as capital E. This is the base terminal which is connected with the base section. This is the collector terminal which is connected with the collector. So a transistor, whether PNP or NPN, it has three terminals, means three metal wires are connected with the three sections. Emitter terminal connected with the emitter section, base terminal connected with the base section, and collector terminal connected with the collector section of the transistor. Okay. Now look at the junctions. This is one PN junction. This is one PN junction. This is known as emitter base PN junction. Emitter base PN junction. Emitter base PN junction. This is another PN junction here. PN, this is P material, this is N material. So this is another PN junction. This is called JCB. This is JEB. this is JCB. CB means collector base PN junction. So in a transistor, there are always two PN junctions. One PN junction between emitter section and base section we mark as JEB, emitter base PN junction. There is also another PN junction between base and collector. We mark as JCB, meaning collector base PN junction. So we have seen that in every transistor there are three sections, three terminals and two PN junctions. Now let us see how this transistor is biased. Biased means how we apply an external electric field by connecting a battery. In the transistor, usually the emitter base PN junction is in the input side and collector base PN junction is in the output side. Now we have to connect the battery in such a way that the emitter base PN junction or input PN junction should be forward biased and the output PN junction should be reverse biased. So in a transistor there are two PN junctions, input PN junction, input PN junction. Usually it is the emitter PN junction, another PN junction, output PN junction, that is usually the collector base PN junction. So out of these two PN junctions, emitter PN junction is always forward biased. Forward biased. That means we have to connect the battery in such a way that this junction will be forward biased. The output PN junction is always reverse biased. Reverse biased. We have seen that when a PN junction is forward biased, its resistance is very low. But when a PN junction is reverse biased, its resistance is very high. So in a transistor, as the input PN junction is forward biased, so input resistance is very low. As the output PN junction is reverse biased, output resistance is very high. Okay, understand? Input resistance very low because of forward biasing, output resistance very high because of reverse biasing. So in a transistor, there is a transfer of resistance. If you go from input to output, if you go from input side to output side, input side to output side, you will find that there is a transfer of resistance. Transfer of resistance or say resistor. Why? Because input has low resistance, output has a high resistance. Input low resistance because of forward biasing. Output has a high resistance because of reverse biasing. So there is a transfer of resistance or resistor. Now if you take trans from this word transfer, trans, and you take a ester from the word register, ester, ester from the word register, trans from the word transfer. Now you join these two parts. What you get? It is transistor. It is transistor. See the name transistor. Why this device is named as a transistor? Because in this device there is a change of resistance from low to high. So its name has been given transistor. So a transistor is a 3-terminal semiconductor device. It is a 3-terminal semiconductor device formed by sandwiching a N material between two P-type semiconductors or a P-type semiconductor between two N-type semiconductors. So there are two types of transistor, one NPN transistor and another one PNP transistor. So in my next class, I shall explain you more details regarding transistor.